Haglar's first loss in 27 professional fights. A mark on his career that still irritates him. And today, live from Portland, Maine,
this is our main event of the evening.
Marvin Haglar. Haglar's first loss in 27 professional fights. A mark on his career that still irritates him. And today, live from Portland, Maine, Haglar will try to even the count with Bobby Watts. Haglar, the top contender for the middleweight championship, set to be in line for another title opportunity. But he must be careful. He faces in Bobby Watts, a middleweight who also has title ambitions, a rangy six-footer who plans to make the most of this opportunity. Live today on ABC's International Boxing. In Portland, Maine, today, 10 rounds of boxing between middleweights. Bobby Watts' fight career has really had two high points. The first coming against Eugene Cyclone Hart, 1974. Bobby destroyed him in the very first round. Second high point a year and a half later, as Bobby took on the undefeated Marvin Haglar at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Here in round 3, Watts on the right in the light trunks shows the speed of hand that became his trademark. But Marvin Haglar is a resourceful, tough fellow. He fought back, and here in round 8, pinning Watts in a corner, most of the Philadelphia crowd thought that Haglar had done enough to beat their hometown fighter. But the judges declared otherwise. Watts the winner, majority decision. Since that controversial win, Bobby Watts' career has been pretty much inactive, in a state of eclipse. He has fought only 9 times in 4 years, winning 7. This year, February 1, he took on Freddie Johnson. That means in the last 16 months, he's had only 2 fights, and the most recent action here, a knockout victory. Watch the left hand here against Johnson. It comes inside, it is short, it is on the money, and down in a lump goes Johnson, out cold. Earlier today, I talked with Bobby Watts about Marvin actually met Willie Monroe 3 times, knocked him out twice. Here in their third match, Haglar removed all doubt about his superiority by literally destroying Monroe in the second round. He was so awesome in this fight and in others along the way that he couldn't get any bouts of consequence. Nobody wanted to take him on in the middleweight division. Until finally, in his 50th pro fight, he met Vito Antuofermo for the undisputed middleweight championship November 30 last year. Marvin Haglar's career record was so impressive that he, the challenger, was installed as a heavy 4-1 favorite. And in the early going here in round 6, he showed the kind of ability to justify those odds. But Vito Antuofermo is not the kind of a man to roll over. No, indeed. He fought back. He took the fight to Haglar in that final round. They stood toe-to-toe, both exhausted, and the crowd, as the final bell clanged, rose to its feet to salute the courage and ability of these 2 fighters. Many observers had scored the fight for Haglar. Came home, carrying his disappointment, went back to work. He's had 1 fight since the title bout with Antuofermo this February with Lucif Hamani, and he showed in the second round that he has lost none of the fire nor the skill that carried him to the top. Earlier today, we talked with Marvin Haglar. It will have no ballot under Maine rules. The 3 judges will make the decision. And a little show in the center of the ring between Bobby Watts and Marvin Haglar, with Watts enjoying an advantage in height of approximately 3 inches, as you can see, about 2.5. 10-point must system under Maine rules. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Mandatory 8 count required for each knockdown. No standing 8s. Fighters can be saved by the bell. Can, I say, be saved by the bell. Haglar is the left-hander in the dark trunks, and Bobby Watts in the white trunks. Though Watts has a 2.5-inch advantage in height, if that is an advantage, he has no appreciable advantage in the reach factor. Oftentimes, that is the most important. He looks quite a bit rangier than does Marvin Haglar. Watts has a history of being a cutie sometimes, moving a lot. But as he told us, he's coming out looking today. There'll be no great amount of dancing, as perhaps his name Bugaloo implies. Haglar digging hard to the body and covering well as Bobby Watts retaliates. Watts almost in a peekaboo defense there, and Haglar trying to reach inside of it. Did slip the right-hand jab in there. Haglar making the fight early, doing the scoring early. Bobby Watts standing pretty much flat-footed. Haglar at times has been quite boastful, quite boisterous in his media conversations. I thought him quite reserved today, quite to the point and interesting in his attitude, that he realizes the championship was so close to him the last opportunity, and he is supposed to get another opportunity in the foreseeable future as soon as Minter and Atafermo have their rematch, and they are scheduled for a rematch in June. Watts got a good left hand to the body that time. Bobby scoring here in the final seconds of round number 1. The referee is Rennie Liberty. It's a good left hand popped in there by Haglar. Half a minute to go in round 1. Despite his rangy appearance, it is already apparent that Bobby Watts generates considerable leverage. You can hear the blows thudding against the arms and forearms of Haglar. All right, that's round 1 from Portland, Maine. Round number 2, scheduled for 10. Live out of the Civic Center in Portland, Maine, where the Maine Mariners play their hockey. Beautiful new building in this old city. Marvin Haglar in the dark trunks. Bobby Watts from Philadelphia in the light trunks. Haglar fighting out of Brockton, Massachusetts. And that's a slip. First round, I thought relatively even. Haglar early, Watts late. These are middleweights. Watts covered in that exchange, but in this exchange, he gets a solid right hand on the chin, inside. Haglar going after him. Watts again caught by that right hand uppercut, snapped his head back. Looking to counter. Standing pretty much flat-footed. He has been training, Bobby Watts has, for a bout with Ernie Singletary when this opportunity appeared. And frankly, if he should beat Marvin Haglar this afternoon here in Portland, Maine, he very obviously would be a probable choice to challenge the winner of the Minter and Atafermo rematch. Minter currently the champion. Hard right hand by Haglar. Appeared to hurt Watts. Another right hand by Haglar. Watts is down. Just about the halfway point of the second round. Watts hurt by a right hand and then down by a right hand. Now let's see if Bobby Watts can run himself out of trouble. Times past, his legs have been suspect when he's been hurt. His recuperative powers are about to be tested right here as Haglar puts him down. It was two right hands that appeared to do most of the damage. Watts cannot sit on the ropes with Haglar. He's got to get himself out in the open. I don't believe he can survive if he sits back in there. Haglar pacing himself, doesn't want to get too wild. Remember, the bell can save you under Maine rules. Watts trying to survive the round, now beginning to apparently stabilize a little bit. He tries to beat Haglar away from him. Coming off the ropes, a half a minute to go. Watts hurt by a left hand. He's in trouble again. There's the left of the face. 20 seconds to go. It's been all Haglar in this round. Watts is going to make it through number 2. But the bell can save you under Maine rules. Lights over. over. Well, now there appears some confusion on the part of the timekeeper at ringside, because the list of rules handed to us, the bell could save you. Now we've got the discussion between the people at ringside, but that's relatively academic, because Haglar had really abused Bobby Watts in the corner, and as time expired, Bobby Watts was pretty well out of it. So Marvin Haglar continues to be one of the most impressive middleweights in all the world. Bobby Watts said that he'd stand his ground, that he would try to go for the big punch. And I think the aftermath